To the average person, the name of Steve Prefontaine means nothing. But if you say the name Prefontaine to a runner, they'll immediately recognize an icon. So why does this short runner from Coos Bay, Oregon, who never won an Olympic medal of any kind, why does he matter to us today? Through his ability to set records, his all-out running style, and his place as the first Nike athlete, Steve Prefontaine cemented a legacy for years to come. Anything concerning Prefontaine must first begin with his ability to run. Prefontaine was a remarkable runner. In high school, he began his amazing career by going undefeated in the junior and senior years at Marshfield High School. According to the Marshfield High School website, he set the national 2-mile record, which eventually garnered him a scholarship from the University of Oregon, where he would be coached by Bill Bowerman, one of the greatest coaches in track and field history. While at college, and then on the international stage, the United States Track and Field website states that he managed to garner 15 American records and was a 1972 Olympian, where he ran in Munich. Although he never got a medal in Munich, his race is still remembered as one of the best and most iconic runs to this day. Now Prefontaine, though he was a great runner and was very famous for his records, he also was very famous for the way that he ran. He had a very all-out running style. He never gave up in a race. He ran in a way that made people watch. And part of this was his tactic of front running. According to Kenny Moore in the book Bowerman and the Men of Oregon, Prefontaine went hard the entire race. From start to finish, he pushed himself. His idol was a man named Ron Clark, who felt that if you didn't run your hardest the entire race, you had given up. You had not given the fans and yourself a good race. He was also a very gutsy runner, though. He ran hard, but he also had this little extra oomph to his running. He had a quote, according to the Business Investor's Daily. He said, "I don't run to see who's the fastest. I run to see who has the most guts." This quote is best personified by a story from Moore and Bowerman and the Men of Oregon, in which Prefontaine, 3 days before the NCAA Track and Field Championships in 1970, he cut himself on a bolt on the side of a diving board. Prefontaine didn't know if he was going to race, but 3 days later, he managed to run. He ran the 3-mile at the NCAA Championships and ended up coming in first on a lacerated foot. Now, no one knew this, but Prefontaine was very courageous, and he pushed through it. Now, for all the accolades that Pre had in his running and in his gutsy running style, Prefontaine is also known as the first Nike athlete. Bill Bowerman, Prefontaine's coach, began a company called Blue Ribbon Sports with a man named Phil Knight, a former runner. Blue Ribbon Sports was founded in about the late 60s, and it was centered around a shoe that Bill Bowerman had made with his wife's waffle iron. The shoe was known as the Nike Waffle. According to the Nike website, the shoe, it was a Sunday morning, and Bill Bowerman was looking at his wife's waffle iron while she was out at church, and he thought it would be a great design to have a waffle on the bottom of the shoe. It would work well. So the company began, and they began looking for an athlete to sponsor them, and this athlete was Prefontaine. He became the first ambassador of Nike, and eventually became the first to endorse Nike. So before Derek Jeter, before LeBron James, and before Kobe Bryant, there was Steve Prefontaine, the first Nike athlete. So though Prefontaine will remain obscure to most people, he still holds a special place in the hearts of many runners. Through his ability to set records, he set a standard for future runners to come. And through his all-out running style, he has inspired countless runners, including me, to run our hardest in our races. And finally, through his place as the first Nike athlete, Prefontaine cemented a legacy in the shoe business for years to come. And so in the end, Prefontaine was not merely a runner. He was an embodiment of an athlete who could give his all to his sport. Thank you.